Hey, it's Drewz Viewz back here doing another AniMonday where I do a reaction to an anime show on Monday, and I'm still continuing Code Geass, Lelouch of the Rebellion R2 Season 2, now up to Episode 9. So, last time there was a whole thing where Zero, Lelouch got a deal, like a plea deal to let Zero pass freely, and what the implication was he'd be giving up the rest of the Black Knights, etc. But then he pulled a fast one where they all started dressing like Zero, and then they all escaped on an iceberg to, I believe, China there, and they're powerless to do anything about it. Nunali was starting her whole Japanese settlement, which I think is still going on. And the one woman, I'm blanking on her name, but the one woman who's kind of seems to be in charge. To end, of course, other generals and stuff, they wanted to open fire on the crowd. Initially, they wanted to kind of force them to riot or coax them to riot so they could put down the bad element, as they called it, or whatever. But didn't happen. Shizuku made the kind of deal with Zero that he would let them go and avoid the bloodshed for one more day there. So I think that might come back to bite Shizuku, but he probably did the right thing. He wanted to, he's getting flashbacks to what happened when this girl Yuffie tried to do that, and it was a bloodbath. So yeah, we'll see what happens this time. All right, let's see what this episode is called. A Bride in the Vermillion Forbidden City. That's quite a mouthful. All right, I'm not sure what that's about. A bride. Well, let's find out. And then it might be, maybe it's the one Chinese empress or whatever she is, I think, seems to think Zero's gonna marry her. So maybe it has something to do with that. I don't know. Let's see. There's all those eunuchs. I guess this is probably some propaganda here from Britannia, but see how much truth there is to this. No shit. Nice fainting couch, rock shadow. He's done with his emo-ness. Oh, I fell. I better go take a shower. Okay, so it's not a marriage between these two. Oh, she's not the Empress, she's... what is she? Oh, it's his brother. I'm gonna get it before they say it. Schneizel. I wonder why it's a forbidden city. Oh, she looks pumped. Shizuku's not really into enjoying things. I feel like this is the first time I've seen the word email come out on the show. Oh yeah, that plot line fell off a bit. Their engagement.
珍しいじゃない。明日の式だけ参列して祝賀会には来ないと思ってる。ロイドが人間に興味があったなんて驚いたわ。いやー、成長期だから。
こちらはカノン・マルディーニ伯爵、シュナイゼル殿下の側近。
公私ともにね。冗談よ。
What does
シュ
that
ナイ
mean?
ゼル殿下は変わり者がお好きなの。私も含めてね。
まさかニーナ。
Wow.
弟は特定の女性は作らなかったんだけどね。
Oh, so that's another one of their brothers.
陰謀部のチーフじゃない。ああ、殿下の研究チーム。
リワイスも堂々としていたよ。
はい、イタリアの爵位を手に入れる。
爵位。地位と引き換えに国を売るか。
民はどうなる。大ガンガン撃つべし。そうだ。
How do these eunuchs get in power anyway?
だがここでクーデターを起こせばブリタニアとの戦争に。
天使様、この男は囚人にいらぬ情けを。
でも私だって風邪をひいたら薬をいただくのに。
いえ、天使様と囚人では。
もうすぐ宴が始まる。ここは天使様の言う通りにせい。
しかし法に照らせばこの男は死罪。
おかしいわ。そんなのおかしいわ。その人いいことしたのに。
天使様にいただいた命です。
This is the backstory on them then.
私も行ってみたい。外に。
外。いずれ私が天使様を外にお連れいたしましょう。
本当？
救っていただいた命のお返しとして。外ではこうやって約束するんです。
Pinky swear. And there's something about him being sick or something last episode.
代表、スメラグかぐや様ご到着。
かぐや。何？こんな場所にテロリストの像。
これは。シュナイゼル。やはりあなたが黒幕か。
I thought you already knew that.
私を救ってくれたの。私だって。口だけの同情ならやめて。ミレイちゃんはいつも遊び気分で困ったらアッシュフォードという盾を使うのよ。ロイド先生との婚約だってそういうことでしょ。私をいつも下に見て保護者の顔をして偽善にしたって。もう違うの。私は私を認めなさいよ。
Taking a little extreme there, Nina.
現れたのです。実に喜ばしい。
Honestly, the eunuchs have a pretty similar vocal pattern as Lloyd. I don't think he's a eunuch though, but
ここはブリタニアではないのに。
黒の騎士団はガオハイを殺しています。
目の前に姿を晒したの。さすがに警戒しているか。
クルルギさん、覚えておいでですか。いとこの私を。
当たり前だろう。
京都六花の生き残りは私たちだけとなりましたね。
桐原さんたちはテロの。
okay. So I was mistaking her for a Chinese empress, which she is Japanese, I guess.
一つチェスでもいかがですか。おお、私が勝ったらクルルギ卿をいただきたい。
は？
かぐや様に差し上げます。
まあ、最高のプレゼントですわ。
楽しみにお待ちください。スザクさんいなくなる。
I think you mentioned in the past that Schneizel was the only one who ever beat him in chess before.
では私が勝ったらその仮面を外
Well, I
して
feel like you're gonna he's gonna realize who it is if they play.
何も別室にしなくても。
相手はテロリ
It'd be interesting if Schneizel already knew that it was Lelouch.
勝つのは私の夫ですもの。ランのエース、グレンのパイロット。
この前のあいつだろ。手配画像よりずっといいな。ああいうタイプなんだ。
手強い。さすが我が兄上。俺が唯一勝てなかった男。だ
Yeah.
が
So I never
そ
beat
れ
him.
は8年前の話。キング。王から動かないと部下はついてこない。
こちら。
めないでしょう。このままではスリーフォールドレピティションとなる。私も本意ではないが引き分けかな。いや、白のキングを甘く見てはいけないな。
まさか。
チェックメイト。
それではゼロが駒を進めれば
シュナイゼルの。
キングが取られてしまう。
ふざけすぎだよ。
わざと負けるおつもり。
Hmm.
許してはいけない。こんな屈辱を受けるなど。 皇帝陛下なら迷わず取っただろうね。君がどういう人間か少し分かった気がするよ。
シュナイゼル、あなたはそうやって見下して。
Got him. Oh boy.
そうだ、僕はなぜ。
あなたはやっぱりイレブンなのよ。いいな。彼、あなただって半分ブリタニアの血を引いてるくせに。違う。私は日本人。ゼロが殺したのに。
これもゼロが引き起こした悲劇。
無罪、今まで。でも彼変わっていないの。
Soul Score Reunion.
ブラックリベリオンの時
I feel like they could overpower Zero at this point and just take his mask off, but
私
I could stop some of them with the gas,
引き
but
返さない。
すまなかったねゼロ。余興はここまでとしよう。
この人と婚姻の儀を終えたら資金城の外にブリタニアへ人質としてこんな形で外に出ることになるなんて。
我は問う。天の声、地の叫び、人の心。何をもってこの婚姻を中華連邦の意志とするか。
テロリスト？
てか、クーデターじゃ
of
ない
course
の。
they're always watching TV back home.
黙れちゃう。
That's cool.
すべての人民を代表し、我はこの婚姻に異議を唱える。遅きり。
大変なことになりました。
ちょっと会長は貴様に外の世界を。覚えた。おられた。
感謝する神君。君のおかげで私も動きやすくなった。
にはエリア11での歌詞があったはずだが。
だからこの婚礼を壊してやる。君たちが望んだ通り。ただし花嫁はこの私が
Oh, she's gonna get to leave.
天使様、この下道が。
おや、そうかい。
それがここなら厄介だ。
Who's this now?
ああ、それで私のために手配を。
そうだよ。
ありがとうございます。調整さえすれば C2 もルルーシュも敵ではありません。このジェレミア・ゴッドバルト、ご期待に。
Jeremiah Gotwild. Well, feel like it's someone I should remember. If it's a character we've seen before, I feel like it is, but not placing it. With Vivi there, I guess after the other episode he was in with the Emperor, which was a few ago, I didn't really talk about it too much, but it seemed like he was calling the Emperor brother, which I didn't know if that was metaphorical, like, what's up, my brother, or if they actually are brothers somehow, like, literally related, but we haven't found that out yet. But if that's the case, I guess this whole witch or Geass thing is really in the family there. So yeah, I was wondering if Schneizel knew that it's really Lelouch, or even suspected it at least. That's unclear. He's obviously the only one we've seen so far, that at least as far as we know has no Geass or magical powers, at least. That is kind of on Lelouch's level in terms of intellect there, and it seems like quite the chess master. And what he did at the beginning of the episode with getting that wedding going, which I guess isn't going to happen now, but getting the Chinese on board that way back with Britannia, that was kind of a chess move against Zero. Now, and also Xingke, or however you say it, the Chinese guy there, he had the backstory with the Empress, who's the one getting married. She wanted to leave that Forbidden City, okay, and then he was kind of working with Zero before in the past a little bit. I know they weren't like really associates, or they're just mutually benefiting each other, but now they're seeming to be opposed, even though they both had kind of the same goal of stopping the wedding, but obviously he wants to protect the Empress. Zero wants to use her for his own goals. So that's interesting. And I guess so Kaguya is the one princess who's Japanese, I guess, a relative of Suzaku. I think I was confusing her and the Chinese Empress there. They look kind of similar, both small little girls. So at the beginning of the episode, I was confusing them. But yeah, I guess I've got that figured out now. Not exactly sure all the politics of China here. Like, how did these high eunuchs get in power in the first place? There's schisms here and there, whatever, but maybe I'll pick it up as I go along. The politics on the show are a little confusing in general. And the guy getting married, I guess, was Schneizel's older brother, it seemed like there, so that's another one of Lelouch and Nunnally's half-siblings. I guess number as mad kids, but didn't even pick up what his name was, but that's all right. So it was also a little school reunion there. Nina got a lot of shine this episode. She's still a bit off kilter. Obviously really upset about Euphemia too, still, and she's kind of going in on the principal, or not the principal, the president there, Millie, a little unfairly, but unloading on her there. And so it was interesting that she showed up with Schneizel. I don't wonder what the situation there is, because, I mean, he was kind of close with Lloyd and the scientist guys there anyway, but it's, and the one guy that got introduced as bodyguard, whoever it is, seemed like there's maybe an implication that they're together with each other in some way. And then obviously Nina was into Yuffie, like, more than just as a friend or whatever, or an idol, but so I don't know if that's putting her and Schneizel together or something about that, but we'll see. I like Schneizel. Like, I like that Lelouch has a good antagonist that's on his level a little bit. Still waiting to see where the hell Cornelia is, but see if we get her in the rest of the season. Yeah, and then Callan and, Callan is facing off with Nina there, but also her and Suzuki always seeing each other, and the rest of Suzuki's team there kind of sizing her up as the master pilot for Zero Squad, the Black Knights. But her and Suzuki, Suzuki always are kind of rivals there, and I'm sure something's going to come to a head with them by the end of the season. So we'll see. No, not only this episode, but it was a pretty focused just on the whole wedding situation. But it was good. I liked it. It was a good episode. I want to see more what's going on next, what Zero's going to do with the Empress there, what Jingse is going to do, what Schneizel's going to do, and of course at the end there with Vivi and that other guy who's apparently giving some power to or whatever. And he obviously knows that what's going on with Lelouch, so that could bring the complications. I'm excited to see. I'll be back for episode 10 next time of Code Geass R2, but that's been Drewz Viewz, AniMonday, and I'm up out of here. Peace, my lord.